Hi everybody, welcome back to Everything Green Tractors. Well, every morning when I wake up, I look out my kitchen window and I see this pile of crushed concrete. And it is calling me. It's asking me, when are you going to complete this project? I think sometimes it's actually my wife asking that question, but in any case, we're ready for the next phase, which means we have two different tractors we're going to feature today. This is the BX2680. This is a 24.8 horsepower tractor with a 19.5 horsepower PTO. This tractor is a 2021 model. It has 208 hours on it, and we traded this in for a John Deere 1025R tractor. This tractor doesn't have the backhoe on it. In fact, you can't get one with it. But it does have a 60-inch Kubota mower deck on it. Now, people who have watched the previous videos all say the same thing. I should have matched the 1025 against this tractor. And I agree, these are going to be more comparable. Just remember that the reason why we went against the BX23S was because the Kubota people are telling their customers that they match up against the 1025. But today we're going to do one step better. We're going to compare this tractor against the John Deere 1023E. Now this model is a 1023E, it's a 2021, and it has about 112 hours on it. Sorry for the glare in the picture. And this one has the 60-inch mower deck on it as well. Now, in order for us to do anything to compare the loader work on these, we're going to have to take off the mower decks. Now, when we're going to talk about the differences between a Deere and a Kubota, one of the very basic things is how easy it is to take on and take off the implements. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to demonstrate the difference between taking on and off a Kubota versus taking off the Deere. So today we're going to start with the removal of the John Deere 1023E mower deck. And with Deere, it starts with a kick. You walk up to the anti-scalp wheels and you pull up the levers that will release the anti-scalp wheels so that they'll fall onto the ground. You can see that we're just walking around the tractor using my boot, kicking it up and releasing the anti-scalp wheels. Once we've released all four anti-scalp wheels, we're going to go to the tractor mower height controller and we are going to switch it to the install mode. Much like the Kubota, we're going to lower the mower deck using the 3-point hitch lever until it's sitting all the way onto the ground. Now this is an older system, the new ones have been improved, but we're going to get underneath the tractor and we're going to push down the lever so that it releases the mower deck from the tractor. And at this point I'm ready to take off the mower deck. All I'm going to do is jump up on the tractor, put it in a 4-wheel drive, which you see I did there, start the tractor, and then I am going to just back up straight over the tractor with the loader up in the air so that I don't hit the gearbox. Now you can see I took off the bucket of my loader, and the reason why I did that is because I want to go ahead and pick that mower deck up using the loader itself, and then I'm going to go ahead and move the mower deck to a safe position so that nobody runs over it. And I'm doing this without getting off the tractor. What I'm using to lift the mower deck with are called load and go ramps, and they make it really convenient because right now I can change the blades on my mower deck, I can scrape out the mower deck each time I use it, and that mower deck weighs about 285 pounds with those load and go ramps on it. So moving that mower deck around is not an issue. And once I'm ready to go, I can just go ahead, pull back up to the loader bucket, and you're going to see just some really good demoing here. Awesome job of getting that loader bucket on. I'm just going to go, there we go. It didn't take too long to get it back on, and now I'm just going to snap the linch pins back into place. So let's see how this compares with the Kubota, which this is not the drive over deck that the Kubota has. However, if you go to the dealership, you're going to see that pretty much every single one of their tractors is set up with this mower deck on it. Now you might wonder how I know to take off this Kubota deck, and the reason why I know is because this is almost identical to the John Deere 2210 that I bought back in 2003. The techniques are the exact same. And so the very first thing you have to do with that is go to each of the anti-scalp wheels, and there's a ring on the peg that holds the anti-scalp wheels up. So you got to take this ring off the peg before you can remove it, which is like a key ring. You'll kind of spin it around until it comes off, pull the peg out, and then put it back in. Once you have the pegs out, you can go ahead and turn the anti-scalp wheels so that the mower deck will roll out from underneath the tractor. And here's going to be a different view of it, so you can see that ring that you got to spin. It's like a key ring. You spin that, you pull the peg out, and you turn the anti-scalp wheels into the position so that they'll roll out from underneath the deck. Reinstall that pin so that you don't lose it or that it doesn't come out. And then once you've done that, you're ready to move on to the next one. And then we're moving on to the next one, where we once again are going to spin that key. We're going to pull the peg out. We're going to reposition the wheel. Wake me up when this is over. And as painful as this is to watch, I'm not trying to fake any of this. I'm really trying to move on as fast as I can and get these pins out and in. I definitely don't want to lose anything, so I'm doing each step completely before I move to the next. And now you're able to lower the mower deck down to the ground. It's not going to be sitting on its base. It's going to be sitting on those anti-scalp wheels so that you can pull it out from underneath the deck. But first, we have some other things to take care of. Once we have the mower deck sitting on the anti-scalp wheels, we're going to move to the front of the tractor, where we're going to take the carrier off of the frame of the tractor and then disconnect it from the front of the mower deck. And the way to do this is you have to pull back on the pins and turn it until it locks in a position so it's sitting away from the tractor. On the other side of the tractor, there's a lever that you push down. Once you have that down, you can go ahead and remove that front carrier. The front carrier part of the mower deck clips into two hooks, and you got to move things around a little bit sometimes to get it out. I always had problems with my 2210 when I was trying to get this off as well. It's not difficult, you just have to have it at the right angle in order to get it out, and sometimes that requires kind of moving around the tractor a little bit. So maybe it's taking a little bit more force than I remember, because based on my breathing, it sounds like I'm wrestling grizzly bears. And with that, we're ready to move on to the next part, which is to disconnect the mower deck lift system from the mower deck. And you do that by pulling out these pegs on each side of the tractor. And the next part, you're going to get your hands dirty, because you have to get underneath the tractor and disconnect the drive shaft from the PTO at the mid-belly point. And now we're ready to take the mower deck out from underneath the tractor. The first thing we have to do is lift up the 3-point hitch so that the lift system disengages from the mower deck. You can see that the 3-point hitch is coming up, and so is the undercarriage for the mower deck system. So at this point, I'm removing the mower deck by rolling it out, and you can see from this angle here that it's not going to be a clean roll. I got to move the mower deck around a little bit as I'm moving it out. Kubota says I should have taken it out from the right side. It actually doesn't say anything about taking it out. It just has mounting instructions in their manual. I did try and put it back in the other way, but really it didn't matter because you're in the way. What I ended up doing is turning the tractor on and turning the tires so that I could get things out a little bit easier, and that seemed to help as I was able to work it out from underneath the tractor. And in case you're wondering, I actually watched a couple of YouTube videos before I did this, just kind of a refresher. To me, this was pretty much how you had to take off the 2210, and even the Kubota owners say that this is a difficult task of getting this out from underneath the tractor. I will say that when I put it back on, I did what I used to do with the 2210, and that is I used the front end loader to lift the front up, and then I just rolled it underneath the tractor and I got it into place before I positioned it back on the tractor. Which that is well and good if you have a loader. If you don't have a loader, you are going to struggle with this a little bit. Some of you are going to say, well, that's not the easy drive over deck that Kubota has, because they have one just like Deere's. Well, I went to Kubota and I asked for permission to take pictures of their tractors. By the way, I had my John Deere hat on. And I took pictures of their tractors they had set up, and every single one of them had this mower deck on it. And so, and I know for me, and I can't speak for all John Deere salespeople, after everything's said and done, we're about $250 underneath their list price of their drive over deck, and that includes the load and go ramps. And as I return to working that mower deck out from underneath it, you can see that kind of figured out how to turn the tires, and was finally able to get it out from underneath the mower deck. And from here, I'm able to roll it into the position that I want, which is going to be stored in my garage for the next couple of days. Now, we started filming the Kubota part at about the 4-minute mark, and right now we're at 11 minutes and 22 seconds. Including the little rollaway at the end. Let's just see how long it takes us to get the John Deere loader or mower deck back on, starting with the removal of the bucket at this point. Now, I don't have to remove the bucket to take off the mower deck or to put it back on. Some companies make you take off the loader completely before you can take on and off the mower deck. I do that so that I can use the load and go ramps. You can see here that I'm aligning the tractor with the load and go ramps at this point. I'm going to pick up the mower deck and bring it out. Just a little secret about me, I spend time at the competitors to learn as much as I can about their tractors. I also try and learn as much as I can about what they're saying about my tractor. And one of the things I know that they say is, well, when you're trying to put on their mower deck, it doesn't always work, it doesn't always align, and it only happens about half the time. Now, I realize that there are people that struggle to get the mower decks on at times, and most of that is because they don't have the tractor completely perpendicular to the mower deck when they approach it. When you approach the mower deck, you have to have a long approach. You can see I'm backing up about 10 feet from the mower deck. I'm aligning the tractor so that the inside left front tire is aligned with the guide rail. Once I've done that, I'm pretty much set to go, provided that my entire tractor is perpendicular to the mower deck. Right now, I am just lowering the undercarriage system on this. The 1023 is different than the 25 in that you have to hold down the 3-point hitch to get it to raise and lower completely. Once I've done that, I'm in 4-wheel drive and low gear. I'm going to go ahead and accelerate, pop up. You can see the mower deck moves just a little bit. And then once I go over the top, the undercarriage aligns. Sometimes you got to drive into it a little bit harder. And at this point, the mower deck is connected. All I have to do now is to set the anti-scalp wheels to the mowing height that I want to be at. Putting back on the Kubota deck, let's just say we're going to save that for another time. If you want to see it in person, go to a Kubota dealership and ask them to please demonstrate taking on and off their mower deck. For that matter, you might be considering going to another dealership such as Mahindra, Coyote, Massey. All of these dealerships, you should ask them to demonstrate taking on and off the mower deck of their tractor. Most of them will not do it. If you go to a Deere dealership, they should be putting you in the seat and having you do it on your own so that you see how easy it is. And that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Please share these videos with others as well. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Phil Dance, and I sell John Deere tractors.